Everyone, Melissa here, designer for Bello's Designs. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this card is the one that we're going to be showing, but it was inspired by this card here that I did the other day. I got a lot of response on our Facebook group and was asked to make a video showing this. So I wanted to try something just a little bit different because I just like to. So this technique that I'm going to be showing today is going to be really hard to see on camera. But what we do is we're going to take all of our stamps, stamp in white, and then stamp with the color over the top and slightly to the side. So you get a shadow and a highlight. Gives your flowers for sure a lot more dimension. And you can see on the darker ones for sure that there's an edge where the stamp is darker. So I'm going to go over the supplies that we're going to use today. So for the backgrounds, I'm using this craft paper. It's by Consortium. It's in Grunge, and it's called Light Tones. This one is the 6x6 paper pad. It also comes in a 12x12. But these papers are they're nice to just stamp on if you're in a hurry, you don't want to make a background, or if you're new to stamping and you're not quite sure about how to make backgrounds, these papers are just awesome. So this is the one, and they're front and back. So this is the one that I used today. It's just green. It's got a darker edge on the bottom. This is the back side. For the first one that I made with Quinn, this is the first paper is the one that I used. And I just love that. So many colors, beautiful. Anyway, so that paper pack there. For the stamps that we're going to use in this card, I have the Meadow Mushroom LAV 567. We have Sky sitting on top of the mushroom. Sky is LAV 357. We have Flourish LAV 507. And this stamp is an old stamp, and I think that it is now retired. But you can swap this out with another flower, or if you're lucky enough to have the stamp, use it, or any of the vine type, but you want a good silhouette stamp for this. And then we're going to use the Wild Poppies LAV 189 and Garden Poppy LAV 689 and the Moon stamp, which I will have listed with a number on our description below. Sorry about that. So for the inks today, we're only going to be using the VersaFine Clairs and the Hero Hues and Unicorn. All are pigment inks, so I'm not blending anything today. I'm only stamping. So we have Hero Arts and Unicorn, our VersaFine Clairs, Nocturne, of course, for the mushrooms and for the fairy. I'm only using Twilight at the end just to frame in. I didn't use that one. Warm Breeze. This is what I stamped the moon in. And for the flowers, I used Charming Pink, Purple Delight, and Summertime. For the moon, you're going to need some PanPastel and a blending tool. If you don't have the PanPastels, you don't have to have it. You just stamp your moon just the same as it is. If you don't have the moon stamp, you can just make a moon with your acetate and just go around that. I'm also using some jelly roll pins by Sakura. This one is a red, the dark purple, dark blue, orange, and white. You'll need a acrylic block. You want to make sure you have a good, clean, clear acrylic block so you can see through your stamping. And then you're going to need a paper cutter, and this is the trimmer that I used, and a blending brush or a smoothie to just blend in your ink around the edges. So let's get started, and we're going to make this card here. Okay, so we're going to get started. We're going to start with the moon first. And we're going to use the PanPastel. I like to kind of give it a different, or just kind of figure out where my shape is going to be first. And just rub on your pastels in a circular motion. This paper is kind of light, so we're not going to have to add too much. So put a little on first. Take our moon stamp. We're going to ink up in the Warm Breeze. Just give that a good coat. Good firm press. And let that ink absorb through the pastel into the paper. And give it a quick little dry. And then just really lightly just go over the ink and blend it out just to give it a softer effect. Okay, there you have that. Move that off to the side there. Okay, and now for our stamping. We're going to stamp everything in the Hero Arts Unicorn White first. And I find it easiest to start with the fairy and get it placed, and then stamp around it. So you want to make sure this has a very, very good amount of ink on it. This ink is a little bit, it's different. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a different kind of ink. And so I'm going to place that about there. Now, on the white, it's really going to be hard to see on camera. Maybe at that angle you can kind of see it. And on a darker paper, I think it is easier too. So this is also what's going to happen to your stamp. You're going to have a lot of ink left on it. So I recommend doing your stamping in your white first, washing your stamps, and then stamping with your color. And that's what I'm going to do. So when I get done stamping on white, I'll take a break, go wash everything up, and come back. And get my blocks clean. Moving on to the mushrooms. And the same thing. Good solid coverage on your stamp. And then line it up to where our fairy sky is going to be sitting. So it'll look like he's sitting on top of the mushrooms. But it's easier to move the mushroom to line it up than it is to line the fairy up to the mushroom, in my opinion. Okay, another quick wipe. And moved on to the wildflowers. No, this is the poppy. And we're going to do the poppy in the Purple Delight. Oh, excuse me. We're going to do white first. Jeez, getting ahead of myself. We're going to put one on this side. Ink up again. I'll stick one down here. I'm only going to do one coming up from the ground. Now we're going to do some hanging from the top. We'll go at a different level, a different angle. And we'll do one more right there. Give my block a little wipe. So that white off of there. And for this one, I'm letting it hang off because I know I'm not going to use it that, it's not going to be that high. Well, I have that pretty full. It's a lot easier to see where you stamped if you turn your paper to the side And I'm sorry, it's really bright. And the lights for the camera is making it even that much harder to see. But you'll notice it when we start stamping. So I'm not going to go ahead and stamp that. I'm going to just leave that be. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to go wash up my stamps because I don't want to contaminate my ink pads. And then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Got my stamps all cleaned up. And I've just placed a piece of white paper under the card just so I'm not getting ink all over my mat. So we're going to start same order. We're going to start with our fairy. With Sky here. We're going to ink up in the Nocturne. With a really good coat. And we're going to line up and slightly, because our light's coming from the moon, so for the fairy, we're just going to come slightly under, and then for the other ones, we're going to come slightly over and to the right. So the white is going to give a highlight, and the other ink is going to give a shadow, and we want that to be going in order. So it's kind of hard to see, and you probably can't see it on camera. But I'll try to zoom in so you can at least kind of get that effect. You'll see it when it's all done. Really good press. Let it soak in. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do the mushrooms too. Okay, and just kind of come down, line it up to where his bottom and his foot are sitting on there. Good press. And so, I don't know if you can see that highlight there or not. We'll just keep going. With our flowers, we're going to stamp these ones up in the Purple Delight. I think the brighter the color is for this effect, the better that you see it. Okay, and we're going to move down. We're going to keep the highlight to the side on this side, since the moon is over there. And then on the opposite side, we're going to go the other direction. So I definitely think that the brighter the color is, the more you see this effect that it's giving. Line that one up slightly off and to the left. And you can even see it through your block where it's darker and where it's lighter. And then with our Flourish Fine, and we're going to use the Summertime Orange. slightly under it. For me, I'm just going to turn it upside down so I'm not moving my color there. And because this has so many angles, it's kind of hard to line it back up. But just take your time, and if it's not perfect, that's no problem. There's no rules. Of course, we always want it to be how we want it, but doesn't always happen that way, does it? Okay, slightly lower. Good press down. And lift off. Okay, now we just have the tall poppies left, and we're going to do those in the pink. Charming pink. Good coverage. Oh. Just didn't do one on that side. I was gonna. Well, I'm just gonna put one there anyways. Okay, so now you can kind of see the effect of the dark, especially on this, the dark on this side, and then the light, and it does the same on the top in the orange. Just gives it a great effect. Now, because I missed some here with my black, I'm going to take a paintbrush that I have dedicated to this black ink and just kind of rub it in and darken up those lines just a little bit. I can do just a bit of a shadow down there. Now we're going to take our Twilight, and you can do this with either a smoothie or a brush. And I'm just going to go around the edges just to add a little bit of depth. I always start at the corners because you have the most ink when you ink up, and then rub it down the side. Now if you want to add some more detail, you can grab your pins. Use my Jelly Roll pins by Sakura, and this is the Stardust collection. And I'm just going to add just a little bit around the edges of the flowers. Just a little. And just kind of spread. This is still wet, so you can bring it in. And it just adds a little glitter to all those. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just so I'm not getting a harsh line with my ink because I'm smudging it. Just because this is on the highlight and I don't really want there to be a harsh line. I just want more of the sparkle. I think that's pretty good. And always remember to sign your work. I always just initial it and put the year. I always do it in the left-hand corner, if I remember. Getting better. So, I'll move this away. So you can see that definition from the two tones of inks. Definitely better on the color than on black. You still can see it. It is hard. It's hard to see on the camera. It's just not picking it up. Okay, so now we're going to mount this on our card. And because this paper is a 6x6 and this card is slightly smaller than a 6x6, we're going to trim off 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So we're going to make it a 5.5 by 5.5. Okay, and I'm going to use my little tape runner. It's mostly on there. Okay, and there you have it. So, hope you guys enjoyed that today. Gave you a new little technique to try out. Cute little card for nice springtime sky in the moonlight. So thank you again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And thank you for all your support to our videos. We truly appreciate it. And if you haven't signed up for Facebook groups, please do so. We have 2 groups. Excuse me, Bello's Design Lounge for our Lavinia stamps, and we have Bello's Designs a la carte, where we showcase all the other great brands that Patty sells. So check us out, follow there. It's a great community, a lot of help. We love seeing everybody's cards and creations. If you try this out, would love to see it. Please post it there. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment or find me on Facebook. That works too. Always happy to help anybody that has any questions. So thanks. Have a great day.